I think when Katrina came, it was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday.
Sunday night. Sunday night, Monday morning.
Man, we had a great time at church Sunday. And the thing about it was that the church, it was so easy to get to church because everybody was leaving out of town. My daddy was the type of dude, he was the type of person to stand his ground. He always stood his ground. But this was the time he should have left. But so we stood our ground, and he had the whole church stand his ground. And he was kind of felt guilty about that. But it wasn't that he told them that, they just did it because they wanted to follow their leader. But so we stayed here, and my sisters, and I have 5 brothers and sisters. My dad and my mom had 6 of us. So my daddy told my sisters and my brothers to go to the Superdome. So they went to the Superdome, and I wanted to stay with my daddy, And when I stayed with my daddy, the water wasn't really that high. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like around right here until the broads broke. So we heard a couple outside scream, and they first was fussing, and he was hitting them. The dude was hitting her. Next thing you know, they start screaming. And I said, man, what they screaming? So we ran outside there, and they said, the water coming, y'all, the water coming. So the water just came in, but it wasn't like a big time, like a bush. It wasn't like that. It gradually started coming, you feel what I'm saying? So after this first it was like about right here. And then my daddy said, I did a dog, I had a Kita. I don't know if y'all familiar with that dog. So the dog started acting real crazy. We trying to train the dog. So we said, you don't do that, you don't do that. So the dog was just acting real crazy. Said, just trying to warn us that, the storm is coming. So we had like this little stick, nothing to harm the dog, just to get them in line. So we tapping the dog with the stick, and the dog just barking. It's time for y'all, just saying, it's time for y'all to come on. So next thing you know it, my daddy got the ladder. He saw that what was going on, and he got the ladder, and we had like a hole in our ceiling already. So that's all we had to do is punch another. My dad is a contract, that's why I have his truck right now. But so we had a hole in the ceiling, and next thing you know, by the time my daddy got the ladder and put it in the ceiling, the water was to my daddy's waist, and my daddy was around my height. And our house is about 4 foot off the ground, so it just happened. Next thing you know, we got my mom. My mom is a larger lady, so we pushed her up there. Next thing you know, the water was almost to my daddy's chest. And it was like, man, it was crazy. And honestly, when it first started happening, I thought it would be fun. I was around 12 or 11, so I was planning on after the storm going to take me to swim, But it wasn't like that. And then I noticed that because the only thing I'm thinking about is taking me a swim. I'm just thinking about after this finish, I'm going to take me a swim. And then I noticed that after I finish swimming, I'm not going to have no more clothes to put on because all my stuff is underwater. So I said, oh man, this is serious. I'm thinking, after the water go down, my clothes will dry out, and we're gonna go back to normal life. But my mom she was telling me, you ain't gonna be able to swim after this. And next thing you know, after the storm has passed, the wind was still real bad. We were standing up, just looking at things. And every time we were standing up, the wind would shake the house so bad that I'll fall down. You feel what I'm saying? So it was actually like the house was just doing that. And it was only the grace of God that kept it together because the house was real raggedy and the house was just doing that. So we watching cars flying, we see people flying on boats, we see bodies floating, you understand what I'm saying? So it was like a horrific time, but the thing about it was that God covered me through all that. I could have been I believe that if my family wasn't in that house, that house would have failed because it wasn't like no little shake. It was like the house was flexing, you know what I'm saying? So it was like it was nothing but the grace of God. And then it was crazy because we heard people yelling, heard people screaming because it was like a shock to everybody. Because every storm, they always said a storm was supposed to be coming. Ivan came, all these storms supposed to come. And this Katrina that everybody took for granted because if you really look at the video was just doing this. The storm was just doing that. So I'm thinking it was going to hit Mississippi. You feel what I'm saying? I thought we were just going to get a branch of it. But it was crazy because the storm wasn't really that bad. The thing that made the storm was bad was the board hit. See, when the board hit, the water just came in. And back in town, this is the lower ninth ward, but this is the upper part, and this is the lower part. But it's still the lower ninth ward. You feel what I'm saying? It's still divided in 2 parts. I stay in the upper part. My grandma stay in the lower part. So back in town, we call that back in town back there. It was real crazy because back in time, my grandma had a 2-foot-story house, and even the stuff upstairs was wet. So they had more water than us because it broke right there. So it was real crazy. But I thank God, man, it was crazy because it was kind of strange because you had never thought like light poles like that, like stuff like that. It was like right here to me when I was in a boat. You know what I'm saying? I only saw the top of it. And I remember seeing stores and everything. Now I look at everything. It used to be a Wagner's right here. It's a change. It's a big change. But it's all coming back. You know, just all the stuff that the devil meant it for bad, but God meant it for good. Because everything, you know, because it was so bad out here. This was like the 9th ward, the 3rd ward, the uptown where Jolly is from. Like, it was just so much killing going on around there. But now it's starting to settle back down. You know, it's great. You know, but you know, it's a lot of people lost their lives. I know. No, my dad is a pastor, and he knew a couple of a pastor back there. He lost his life. A lot of lives was lost, man. But it was an experience that you'll never forget. You'll never forget. And it was bad. But it really worked out for my good, because if I would have still been back here, I was just doing the right things when I was back. Because, you know, this is like an urban area. You know, you don't have to. My daddy was like, my whole block was filled with preachers. But, you know, you always have a way to choose. But I chose to go the other way. So it was just crazy back here. But God blessed me that now I'm a preacher. You know, it's so much stuff that happened. You know, everybody look at the worst stuff, but God has blessed us. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of people never owned a house. Now they own a house. They never had a flat screen TV, and they bought flat screen with their FEMA check. You know, so it's just a blessing. You know, it's really a blessing. I'm just happy. I'm happy to be here standing, to be one of the ones that, you know, a lot of people lost their lives, but I'm happy to be the one that's standing to testify and tell about it.
There you go.
So it's really a blessing, y'all. I mean, where y'all from?
Great.
I'm from here.
Hey, everybody from here?
Minnesota.
Oh, I'm sorry. How you doing? How you doing? I heard about Castle Rock, man. Ain't kind of person that stay across the street from my church go to Castle Rock. Yeah, man. It's a blessing. I'm so happy Jolly called me. That's a blessing.
So you went out by boat?
I went out by boat. And the crate, I ain't tell y'all what
happened. How long were you here before they took you by boat?
I was here about a day, I think. A day.
Okay.
Then we got on the bridge. I was there another day.
Which bridge were you on?
This bridge right here.
The St. Claude?
Yeah, the St. Claude Bridge. St. Claude, it was crazy. St. Claude Bridge, he's popular in this line. Well, everybody knew Pastor Jose. We called him Rap, they called him Jose Black or something like that. So it's crazy because they saw that I was hungry. So everybody was breaking into stores. Everybody was breaking. It started out good, you know, because it's not bad, because, you know, it's not considered loitering, you know, until you start breaking. Then they start taking TVs.
To do it for survival.
They start taking TV. They start taking clothes, but first it started off with just food, you know, something just survive, and then it went overboard. And then the army people they got real mad at the people. They started shooting people. I never saw none of that, but they started shooting people and everything. Then we went to Douglas. Douglas was kind of a settled environment.
Douglas is the highest.
Yeah, Douglas. Frederick Douglas is right there, and we had it was like a family environment, because it was all my family. Well, not all my family, but all my daddy family. So it was just a cool environment. But when we went to the Superdome, it was raping little girls, and I have 4 sisters. So my dad, I think I was around 11, 12 at the time. So my daddy had me, my brother. My brother was like 18. He had us patrolling things. I had my uncles and everything. And I was thinking about it when we was watching my sisters. And I looked at my oldest sister. I said, I'm not too much bigger than her. So why do you have me out here? You know what I'm saying? I believe she would stand a better chance than me. So I said, I don't know if you got the right person out here. But by the grace of God, none of that stuff didn't happen to my family. But it was crazy, because after we went to Houston, because they evacuated us to Houston. My daddy, he really cut up, because we were supposed to be going to Galveston. But we went to Houston, and I think it was something else that was in Louisiana we were supposed to go to. I think Baton Rouge or something like that. So when my daddy found out he wasn't, because he went to sleep on the ride because he was so tired, because he was watching all day. He didn't sleep about 3-4 days. So when he went to sleep, he found out he was in Houston. He was very upset, you know, because he didn't want to leave Louisiana. You feel us? Because, you know, he had ministry down here. We have church members and everything. But everybody came back, and, you know, well, not everybody. We heard from everybody. We know everybody's okay. But it was crazy, because even in the Astrodome, they was raping people. So it was really horrific, because the time we supposed to, this was the best time for us to come together and to experience the love from one another. We want to hurt one another. You feel what I'm saying? It was crazy, because it's not. I don't blame it on the people. I blame it on the devil, because, you know, the devil get into people and they see you at the weakest moment. It's just crazy, but we survived through it all. I still stand on 2 feet, and we are here by the grace of God.
Amen.
So I hope I did everything I wanted.